The World Health Organization warns against countries using so-called immunity passports as a way of enabling people to go back to work. Local shops in India are now open for business as Delhi takes a further step towards restarting the country's economy. And how do you explain COVID-19 restrictions to a chimpanzee? Countries around the world are struggling with the difficult decision of when and how to lift the lockdown restrictions that are causing unprecedented economic hardship. The World Health Organization is warning against the use of immunity passports to prove people have had the disease and so are fit to work. Imogen Folks explains.
These antibody tests are not entirely reliable. Some people may show negative when they've had the disease and vice versa. Also, the coronavirus is just that, it's a coronavirus, so too is the common cold. So there is the risk that antibodies showing up in people are actually indicating that they've had a cold rather than this specific virus. Finally, and this is the key point, no one knows yet whether having had the disease and having antibodies in your blood means that you're immune.
The Indian government is restarting the nation's economy by allowing smaller shops selling non-essential goods to reopen a month after being shut down. Here's Charles Havland.
Smaller shops selling non-essential goods have now reopened their doors, but not yet those in shopping malls, nor in areas deemed to be COVID hotspots, nor can alcohol be sold. India's month of tight lockdown has hit the poor hardest. Many small-scale vendors have been beaten up by vigilantes, and impoverished urban labourers have trekked back to their home villages.
In the UK, the number of people who've died in hospital has passed 20,000 and the daily death rate from COVID-19 is 813, making it the highest at present in Europe. The National Health Service has managed to cope with the crisis in part due to volunteers. Among them is Syrian refugee Hassan Akkad, a former teacher and photographer who says he was imprisoned and tortured by the Assad regime. He's now working as a cleaner in a hospital in East London.
I would have to say it's a very therapeutic job because it's very repetitive and I can feel the difference because I can look at the ward every time I finish my shift and it's sparkling clean and it smells nice. It gives me so much pleasure. On another front, my colleagues, 99% of them are from an immigrant background, Nigerians and people from Ghana and Spain and Poland and me, Syrian, and from the Philippines. I hope that this sends a message when this nightmare is over internationally that actually immigrants are also on the front line, helping their host communities to get through this.
Iran's President Hassan Rouhani says the country should draw up economic plans based on a worst-case scenario that the coronavirus crisis could last till March. Health officials have warned of new waves of COVID-19 as businesses reopen after Iran suffered the Middle East's most virulent outbreak so far. As Sebastian Usher reports.
With the official death and infection rate creeping down, Iran has endeavoured to get its already failing economy back in operation, however limited. Shopping malls, bazaars and parks have been reopened this week and travel between cities has resumed. But the anti-coronavirus coordinator in Tehran has warned that hasty reopenings of businesses could hamper efforts to keep the virus under control.
A pharmaceutical factory in South Africa, which was closed down for several days over concerns about a lack of safety measures, says 99 members of staff have tested positive for coronavirus, reportedly about a quarter of the workforce at the GlaxoSmithKline facility in Cape Town. Health officials in Japan say nearly 150 people on an Italian cruise ship docked in the country have tested positive for COVID-19. So far, roughly a quarter of the Costa Atlantica crew are confirmed to have the virus. Local officials have ordered the crew to quarantine themselves on the ship, but local media report some have left the vessel without alerting the authorities. And it's not only humans affected by the pandemic. Zoos are closed and some animals are missing visitors. Lucy Starbuck looks after the chimpanzees at Edinburgh Zoo in Scotland. She says the troop has been coming up to the windows of their enclosure looking for people. So how are keepers coping?
We wear gloves when we're handling any food and things like that. But we've started wearing face masks all the time. As far as I know, there are no known cases of chimpanzees catching coronavirus. But they are susceptible to things like the flu, so we just really don't want to take that chance.
This is the Coronavirus Global Update. Stay safe. Bye for now.